I'm going to explain something to you, and I'm not taking any partisan sides here. I'm just explaining to you American law.
Absolutely.
Believe it or not, those 9 people up there in that pretty stone building in Washington run this nation. What they say is final. They come across above Congress and above the president. When the Supreme Court says, hey, this is how it is, that's the way our forefathers set the government up. That's how it is. And Obama and Don McCain and Boehner and Harry Reid and all of them can push all the paper they want to. And legally, they're just tearing down forests down in South America to print more paper that's just absolutely useless because all they're doing is feeding their own egos. And they're feeding off the fear of Americans.
I agree.
Now, I was going to share something with you guys.
Bobby. Go for it.
I was going to share something with you guys here just for a minute. Something that people, I believe in God and country, guns and glory, and all that good stuff. But, I've always believed 100% in the way that our forefathers gave us this country. They fought for this country. They bled for this country. But they were not idiots. They prepared us for things like today. I was discussing Article 5 just a moment ago. Let me explain to you what Article 5 can do. Number one thing we need to start in this country is we need to stop fighting each other, number one. We're all Americans. We all have different lives. We have different beliefs. That's the way we were created. Good God, we talk about immigrants today, but let's face the fact, we're all immigrants here. I mean, how many Native Americans are we still in the country? I mean, when it comes down to, if you want to get down to basic law, I mean, if you want to go right and wrong, we're all immigrants here.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to say this. We have a proposed amendment that can stop all this, really. Our number one problem is not the Mexicans. It's not all the alternative races in this nation. Our number one problem is career congressmen and corporate corruption. I mean, we have a proposed amendment that we have 40 states in operation now with term limits for U.S. Congress. It's and it's not one of those long, drawn-out congressional things that they do. It's 2 paragraphs. It simply states, no person shall be elected or appointed as a member of the United States Congress if the duration of that term for which the person is elected or appointed in the entirety as defined within Article 1 of the United States Constitution would result in the person serving more than 12 years of his or her life in the United States Congress. Upon ratification of this amendment, a current member of the United States Congress whose total number of years in the United States Congress exceeds 12 years shall not be allowed to complete the existing term for which he or she has been previously elected. Said allowance for completion of this existing term shall not justify exclusion for the member from actions beyond the scope of this amendment that lead to the determination for the United States Congress prior to the completion of the existing term. In other words, when we get this done in 2016 as our date, there's going to be, let me get my numbers correct here, there's 167 people in the House that will not be able to be reelected, and 60 sitting senators. Now, can you believe and can you imagine what a massive...
All right, I want to provide some context for what you're seeing here. You're listening to, I guess it's called WWRR, Revere Riders, and it says, with the Patriot veteran, open forum, both barrels blazing, began by reading the statement from alleged general or alleged commander Chris Davis, which you can find online. It was sent to me in a private message, but I'm sure it's been released to the public. And this is a blog talk thing where they just seem to be rambling on about the same BS that people talk about 24/7, trying to figure out how to turn the country around, but there's no specifics whatsoever about anything. So let's read this. It says, tonight on Revere's Riders, we'll have a completely open round table forum where there are no scheduled guest call-in times. Everyone's welcome to call in. The only thing I ask is that you refrain from cussing if possible. Now, I'm not saying that they planned on me calling in, but it kind of looks that way. And I probably will call in. If possible, the reason for this is so we do have a prime time slot and don't want parents shying away from the show. We need to help educate our children as well, not just the adults who are asleep in this Republican nation, blah, 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 blah. And that's what we're listening to now. The question is there going to be anything specific about what is going on? Or is it just going to be a bunch of people rambling on? That's the question.
Up and speak up, because after years and years and years of tyrannical oppression, they've been told that they will be imprisoned, that they will be fined excessively, which is unconstitutional. I'm sure Bobby there can quote those lines. I can't. But I know that I've read enough of it to know that they can't do that to us. They can't.
Now, the reason that I put this on here is because we've got a situation where we've got allegedly a militia building up in Laredo. We've got allegedly a militia building up in Laredo, also San Antonio. We have huge protests going on in Murreita, California over here, which I don't see on the map. It's a tiny town. And we've got Mark Kessler and his boys in Arizona. And they're about to make runs near, if not into, Mexico in relation to this. Again, allegedly. Where the freak is Arizona? There it is. There's Arizona. And so they'll probably, Sierra Vista. So we've got Mark Kessler and his militia people in Sierra Vista. We've got Chris Davis and his militia people allegedly in Laredo. We have a buildup on the southern border allegedly occurring. Nogales right here is where a lot of stuff has been going on. Sierra Vista is just outside Nogales. If I was militia and I wanted to do something in relation to Nogales, I would tell people to meet up in Sierra Vista, and that's exactly what he did. Mark Kessler has put across that there are informants, there are government operatives infiltrating the militias, and I have tried to get this across to Chris, and hopefully he's, being very careful, but they may be undetectable. They may be 100% undetectable. All right, let's go back to this and see what they're on.
Be careful how you say things to the masses. Anything they can misconstrue as a coup or as a attempt to derail the government, they can put you in jail for it. And believe it or not, they are writing the laws right now. So that's why I stress to the people that I know so much, yes, we can all go get our guns out of the cabinets, and we can all walk to Washington, D.C., and put 20 million people around the place, but it's not going to do you any good, because at that point it's going to be us against them. And I pray to God that our military still understand that they work for us.
Just wait until I get into the details there. Trust me. When I say this, I'm not talking about a protest. I'm not talking about people starting shooting. I'm talking about people absolutely refusing to work, to move, to transport goods, to do anything to create a taxable fund to hit them where it hurts most, in the pocketbook, for a period of 24 hours. Every single group that is willing to work together, work together. to actually stand at our state capitals to reclaim our government and order our representatives to follow the will of we the people, not to overthrow our government, not to impede in any lawful government actions or movements, but to actually stand up and speak and tell them our will, to do what the Constitution tells us that is lawfully within our rights. If we actually manage to find a way to work together, to stop being afraid, then we can actually do this. When it comes time.
Now, this is just a generic picture. This is not the people speaking.
Yes, sir. And I believe that is part of what is in the writing that I sent to you earlier. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I also... Yes, sir. I also have a caller that has his hand raised up. He or she is 405. Bobby, Denise, I'm going to put you on mute for just a minute to bring in a couple other people. All right?
Okay. All right.
405. Can you hear me?
Hey, David, it's Karen. How are you?
Hey, Karen, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm all right. I was just listening in tonight. Something I don't usually do a whole lot. I'm usually busy with the critters. But, hey, look, I just wanted to chime in there real quick, if you don't mind, and add on to a little bit about what your friend Bobby was saying.
Yes,
ma'am. Rushing in and going to the Capitol all wide up style, that sounds awesome. And, you know, a lot of us are like, oh, yeah, but, you know, he does make a point, and we need to remember, too, I want to point out for those who don't know, which I'm assuming most do, I'm sure you do, of all the corporate lobbyists and everything that are basically controlling and dictating. You know, I've watched all over the world, all these other countries, they get together, they run these bankers out. You know, they're arresting the ones that are damaging, you know, other countries and everything through policy and through financial means. And, you know, I think that's something that also rests on the people is, yeah, we can get angry at the politicians because they're the faces we see up front. But if we look behind the door, if you will, or the curtain, you know, kind of like in The Wizard of Oz, you know, it's all these big bankers and these corporate lobbyists that's pulling all these people's strings. You see where I'm going with that?
Yes, ma'am, I do. And actually, let me expound on that a little bit further. Most of these people are in our government. Most of these 1%ers are the rich buggers that are controlling things. There's people behind
absolutely.
the scenes.
Look at the guy that was with Monsanto for so long, and you know, now he's the head.
Okay, this is really making me sick. I'm sorry if you don't know these things by now. You've been living under a rock. I'm not sure why somebody invited me to join this show of people that are just repeating the same shit that we've been talking about for years. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to change anything. We need to be talking about logistics. Logistics. Who is where and what are they doing? We should be talking logistics, not repeating the same BS.